This is VeriScope News. Verified data, clear context. Each report on this channel explains official economic data using the original numbers published by government statistical agencies. Today's report examines the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics release titled The Employment Situation, February 2026. The report was released at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time on March 6, 2026. The Employment Situation Report measures several key indicators of the labor market. These indicators include payroll employment, unemployment, wages, hours worked, and labor force participation. These measurements help describe how many people are working, how many people are looking for work, and how pay levels are changing across the economy. The data discussed in this report comes directly from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. All figures are presented as published in the official release. The U.S. labor market is one of the most closely measured parts of the economy. Each month, the Bureau of Labor Statistics publishes the Employment Situation Report. The report combines information from two large surveys. The first survey measures payroll employment at businesses and government agencies. The second survey measures employment status among households. Together, these surveys provide a broad view of employment conditions across the country. The February 2026 report contains updated information on job growth, unemployment levels, wages, and labor force participation. These indicators help describe how employment conditions are changing over time. They also help track how different industries are adding or losing jobs. Understanding these numbers provides context for the broader economy, including household income, business activity, and workforce participation. Total non-farm payroll employment decreased by 92,000 jobs in February. Non-farm payroll employment includes jobs at private businesses and government organizations. In the previous month, January 2026, total non-farm payroll employment increased by 126,000 jobs. The difference between the February change and the previously reported January change equals negative 118,000 jobs. The calculation is as follows. Negative 92,000 minus 126,000 equals negative 118,000 jobs. The January payroll figure was also revised. The previously reported January increase of 130,000 jobs was revised downward to 126,000 jobs. The revision calculation is 126,000 minus 130,000 equals negative 4,000 jobs. December payroll data was also revised. The previously reported December increase of 48,000 jobs was revised to negative 17,000 jobs. The calculation is negative 17,000 minus 48,000 equals negative 65,000 jobs. Combined revisions for December and January equal negative 69,000 jobs. The calculation is negative 65,000 plus negative 4,000 equals negative 69,000 jobs. The unemployment rate measured 4.4% in February. The unemployment rate also measured 4.4% in January. The unemployment rate did not change between the 2 months. The number of unemployed persons measured 7.6 million in February. The number of unemployed persons also measured 7.6 million in January. These figures indicate that the number of people without jobs but actively seeking work remained stable during the month. Average hourly earnings for all employees on private non-farm payrolls increased by 15 cents in February. Average hourly earnings measured $37.32. In the previous month, average hourly earnings measured $37.17. The calculation is 37.32 minus 37.17 equals 0.15. Average hourly earnings increased 0.4% during the month. Over the past 12 months, average hourly earnings increased 4.0%. Average weekly hours for all employees on private non-farm payrolls measured 34.3 hours in February. Average weekly hours also measured 34.3 hours in January. There was no change in average weekly hours between the 2 months. Labor force participation measures the share of the population that is either working or actively seeking work. The labor force participation rate measured 62.4% in February. The rate also measured 62.4% in January. The rate did not change between the 2 months. The employment population ratio measured 50.9% in February. The employment population ratio also measured 50.9% in January. The employment population ratio measures the share of the population that currently holds a job. Total non-farm payroll employment includes both private sector employment and government employment. In February, private sector payroll employment decreased by 77,000 jobs. Government employment decreased by 15,000 jobs. Together, these two components equal the total change of negative 92,000 jobs. The calculation is negative 77,000 plus negative 15,000 equals negative 92,000 jobs. Within the private sector, several industries recorded employment gains. Healthcare added 28,000 jobs, leisure and hospitality added 9,000 jobs, financial activities added 4,000 jobs, mining and logging added 1,000 jobs. Other industries recorded employment declines. Retail trade lost 36,000 jobs, professional and business services lost 15,000 jobs, transportation and warehousing lost 10,000 jobs, manufacturing lost 8,000 jobs, construction lost 6,000 jobs, other services lost 5,000 jobs, information lost 3,000 jobs. Government employment decreased by 15,000 jobs in February. The decrease occurred across several levels of government. Federal government employment decreased by 9,000 jobs. State government employment decreased by 3,000 jobs. Local government employment decreased by 3,000 jobs. The number of persons employed part-time for economic reasons measured 4.4 million in February. The number measured 4.3 million in January. Part-time for economic reasons includes workers who would prefer full-time employment but are working fewer hours because of economic conditions or reduced work schedules. The number of long-term unemployed persons measured 1.2 million in February. The number also measured 1.2 million in January. Long-term unemployed persons are individuals who have been unemployed for 27 weeks or longer. Long-term unemployed persons represented 15.8% of all unemployed persons in February. The labor force measured 169.1 million persons in February. In January, the labor force measured 169.0 million persons. The number of persons not in the labor force measured 99.5 million in February. The number measured 99.4 million in January. People not in the labor force include individuals who are not working and not actively seeking employment. Marginally attached to the labor force measured 1.6 million in February. Marginally attached workers are individuals who want a job and have looked for work in the past 12 months, but were not actively searching during the 4 weeks before the survey. Among marginally attached workers, 363,000 persons were classified as discouraged workers. Discouraged workers are individuals who are not currently looking for work because they believe no jobs are available for them. The Bureau of Labor Statistics classifies discouraged workers as a subset of marginally attached workers. The Employment Situation Report is published monthly. The report combines information from 2 statistical surveys. The Current Employment Statistics Survey measures payroll employment using reports from businesses and government agencies. The Current Population Survey measures employment status among households. The Payroll Survey focuses on the number of jobs. The Household Survey focuses on the number of people working or seeking work. These surveys measure different aspects of the labor market. Payroll employment counts jobs on employer payrolls. The unemployment rate measures people without jobs who are actively searching for work. Labor force participation measures the share of adults engaged in the workforce. Wage data measures how pay levels change over time. Together, these indicators provide a broad picture of labor market conditions. Employment conditions affect household income through wages and hours worked. Payroll employment changes indicate how many jobs are being added or lost across the economy. Wage growth affects the amount of income households receive from work. Average hourly earnings increased during February. This increase reflects changes in pay across private sector payrolls. Average weekly hours remained unchanged. Weekly hours influence how many hours employees are scheduled to work each week. Stable hours mean the average work schedule remained the same between January and February. Household income depends on both wages and hours worked. When wages increase, income from each hour worked increases. When hours worked change, total weekly income can change even if wages remain the same. Labor market conditions can influence production costs for businesses. Wages are a component of operating costs for many companies. When wage levels increase, businesses may experience higher labor costs. Labor costs can affect pricing decisions across different industries. Changes in employment levels can also influence consumer spending patterns. Households with stable employment typically maintain regular spending levels. Households experiencing job loss may reduce spending until employment conditions change. Industry employment changes help describe how labor demand varies across sectors. Job gains in one sector may occur alongside job losses in another sector. Healthcare employment increased during February. Retail trade employment decreased. Professional and business services employment also decreased. Transportation and warehousing employment decreased. Manufacturing employment declined. Construction employment declined. These changes illustrate how employment shifts occur across multiple industries at the same time. Labor market conditions vary depending on industry demand, production levels, and consumer activity. Employment conditions influence household financial stability. Stable employment can support regular income flows for households. Income levels affect savings decisions and spending patterns. Changes in wage growth also influence disposable income. Disposable income refers to income available after taxes and basic expenses. When wages increase, disposable income may increase if other expenses remain stable. Savings behavior can vary depending on employment stability and income growth. Businesses rely on labor to produce goods and provide services. Employment levels influence staffing decisions and operational capacity. When industries experience job gains, businesses may expand hiring. When industries experience job losses, businesses may reduce staffing levels. Wage levels also influence business payroll costs. Average hourly earnings increased during February. Changes in wage levels can affect payroll expenses across industries. Businesses monitor labor market indicators when planning hiring, investment, and production decisions. Labor market data is published regularly throughout the year. The next scheduled Employment Situation Report will be released on April 3, 2026 at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Future reports will provide updated measurements of payroll employment, unemployment, wages, and labor force participation. Economists and analysts track these releases to monitor how employment conditions change over time. Other labor market indicators are also published during the month. These include job openings, layoffs, and weekly unemployment insurance claims. Together, these indicators help provide a broader view of labor market activity. The Employment Situation Report provides statistical measurements of employment conditions. The February 2026 report shows a decrease in total non-farm payroll employment during the month. The unemployment rate remained unchanged. Wage levels increased slightly during the month. Average weekly hours remained stable. Labor force participation also remained unchanged. Industry employment changes varied across sectors. Some industries added jobs, while others recorded declines. These figures provide a statistical snapshot of the labor market during February. Employment statistics are calculated using large national surveys. The Payroll survey collects employment reports from hundreds of thousands of worksites. These worksites represent millions of employees across the United States. Survey responses are compiled and adjusted using statistical weighting methods. Seasonal adjustment techniques are also applied. Seasonal adjustment removes predictable patterns such as holiday hiring and weather-related fluctuations. The Household Survey collects responses from thousands of households each month. Households report employment status, job search activity, and other workforce details. Survey responses are then weighted to represent the national population. Revisions occur when additional survey responses are received after the initial estimate. These revisions improve the accuracy of the final figures. This has been a VeriScope News data report. Verified data, clear context. Today's report examined the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics Employment Situation Report for February 2026, released March 6, 2026. All figures were presented as reported by the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The next employment situation release is scheduled for April 3, 2026 at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. For future reports explaining verified economic data, subscribe to VeriScope.